Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Young, and we are here with the brilliant Asylum Road. So welcome, guys.
How's it
Good
going?
evening.
So guys, could you introduce yourselves and what you do within the band?
Yeah, I'll start. How's it going, folks? My name's Brian. I play bass um, and do a bit of the background management stuff for the band as well. In terms of, um, I've got a driving license, so I can drive people to and from practices.
He's being modest. He does everything behind the scenes. That man makes us just go. He's like the fuel, the engine, along with Paul. Whereas me and Ethan are just like, that's cool, boys. Class. Thanks for that. I may as well go next. I'm Darren. I'm the vocalist and lyricist as well. But again, everybody kind of chimes in with lyrics as well. If the ideas strike them and vocal ideas kind of come on. But the lads there do backing vocals live. Gives me a wee bit of a breather as well. Time to sip a pint.
I'm Paul, the newest member. When did I join there? What, around this time last year? I play guitar and try my best to write tunes, basically.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions. As kids, what were you listening to?
Oof.
Shit.
Are we going
For
like
me?
Yeah.
For me, geez, as a kid, like how young are you talking? Like 7, 8?
As soon as you want.
Geez, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, just whatever my dad was sticking on in the car, really.
Yeah.
Rory Gallagher, massive. So always kind of rock based, but then kind of as I got up, Metallica was really late for me. Kind of starting, I was massive on the Slayer. Like Slayer was my thing, and then from Slayer just got big on the melodic death metal, the kind of that whole Gothenburg scene. At the Gates, the Haunted. That was just my thing. And then Pantera, just big on the Pantera. Machine Head, Slipknot. Yeah, Slipknot was just a big one. Not really big on the new metal at all. Slipknot would have been my go-to. And then that's what it was growing up. Recently, just Gojira, Silosis, Bleed From Within.
Mixed bag of everything, really. Like you take from what you were listening to, kind of the same as Paul. Like my dad, he was a DJ for years, and it went from dance music, house music, right the way back to my dad's a huge Queen fan, so Queen was always playing in our house. In fact, I remember the first ever CD that I bought with my own pocket money, from like cutting the grass and stuff, was the Flash Gordon soundtrack by Queen. And I watched Flash Gordon all the time when I was a kid. So it kind of, my love for rock kind of built on that. And then it was similar to Paul, more classic rock before it got into metal, Zeppelin, and then your earlier kind of metal of Sabbath. And it's just over the years then we all went to the same school together. Paul was the year above me at school. And we all hung about with the same group of guys. So we got into Pantera at the same time. Slayer, as Paul was saying, it's just that natural evolution. I mean, we all kind of like different things as well. I mean, I like Kiss, the other guys don't. But then we would drift into stuff like Genesis and Phil Collins. We all have a love for Phil Collins, a love for Toto, that kind of stuff. So it's a mixed bag, really, from where we were as kids to where we are now as adults.
Cool. Right?
Yeah, I was slightly different. I always liked funk, which is why I ended up playing bass. So my household wasn't musical, very sporting, not so much into music. But when I was 12, 13, I came across Hendrix and some of that classic rock stuff, and that led me to early Chili Peppers. And then for a couple of years, I was just Chili's obsessed until Korn and Rage Against the Machine came on the scene when I was about 14. And then one day there was a CD shop here in town called Trash, and that's where all us alternative kids would hang out. And I went in there and heard the Pinch Harmonic riff from Cemetery Gates. Well, what is that? So I went up and had a chat with the shop owner and left with actually it was Vulgar Display of Power I bought. That's he recommended. So I left with that, and it's been a slippery slope ever since. And to Stylosis, Whitechapel, Surreption, Rivers of Nile. I listen to anything heavy, but yeah, I like the heavier end of stuff. More bass.
You're going to say that.
Cool. So you mentioned a couple of you mentioned your dad's got you sort of like listening into music. Sort of like people who actually got you into listening to music, such as like a sibling or a friend, or was it sort of like a journey of self-discovery?
For me, actually, as I say, like my dad, but how I got on the metal was I bought a Slipknot t-shirt because I thought it was cool. It had a Slipknot S on it. I think it was 12 was all. I want to wear that, and the guy I bought it from handed me the Slipknot self-titled CD, Vulgar, not Vulgar Display of Power, Great Southern Train Kill, and South of Heaven, them 3 albums, and that just changed my life. So it was that if it wasn't for that one guy, I don't even know his name, I don't think I'd be listening to the metal. It'd be classic rock just for my dad, but that just changed everything for me.
It's funny because I remember playing in a band, as you do when you're 14 or 15, and we were playing. It was mostly Thin Lizzy covers and kind of classic rock stuff. And one of the drummer's older brother had come back from uni over in Manchester, and he handed me a burned CD, and it was As the Palaces Burn, Lamb of God. This is something like 2006, and once I heard that, like, Lamb of God's always, like, since then has been my absolute favorite metal band of all time by some distance. So not a family member, but someone older, kind of looking at us classic rock teenage kids and saying, yeah, you're a metalhead, you just don't know it yet.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same as them lads. I mean, whenever you were flicking through Kerrang and Skulls back in the younger days, and you had MTV Headbangers Ball. I think I remember watching MTV Headbangers Ball, and I think I was doing homework, and the next thing I heard I'm Broken by Pantera. And it was just that what? Oh, bam, down. And I go, what? It was like I was hit by a thunderbolt out of the blue. It was just, that was it. I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to do and listen to until I get put into the ground. This is it. I mean, like, my family, are very kind of classical music. Like my cousin is a singer for Celtic Women, so this is the kind of stuff I was growing up with classic. Everybody had that sing. We were doing fish and singing competitions. I know, like, and poetry and stuff, and everybody had their thing on it. And once I heard metal, once I heard that Dimebag riff, everything went out the window. Classic music, get away from me. Everything else, get out. Grew my hair long, and that was it. It was just magic.
Cool. So out of all the bands that you've listened to over the years, is there one specific, or is there sort of a group of musicians who actually influenced you to say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to get up on stage. I want to perform.
Pantera. That's what we
I knew you were going to say it.
It's literally just going to be, like as I said, me and Paul hung around with the same dudes, and we would have drunk at the weekends. And I remember getting a DVD of the Vulgar videos, the Pantera home videos, and it was just those guys getting absolutely smashed and drunk and jumping around on stage. And I said, that looks like the life for me. And that
for me it was different. Like look, I love Dime and I love Pantera and stuff, but like, I don't know. I've always been more interested in the riff than the solo. I think for me it was like my favorite guitarist of all time is David Gilmour. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I prefer the one note that just brings out and you can say 1,000 things rather than Eddie Van Halen and his tapping and everything else. But I don't know, like heaviness. Who got me on the? I don't know. I think it might have been Anders Boyer or whatever, that guitarist from At the Gates and the Haunted. Listen, they Slaughter the Soul was just like I want to do this. This kicks ass. Like, and Strap Me On Lad. Like watching them guys live, I was just like, I just want to do this. I just want to stand up and control 50,000 people.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Brian?
No, I don't. I just always I've always liked music, and it was just something you did with your friends, and it never really, there wasn't an epiphany. There wasn't a going to a show and thinking I could do that. It was just there were local shows here. You played a bit of music, so you go and play at the local gig. But the one thing that made me think, wouldn't it be great to have 500, 1,000, 10,000 people in front of you, was the first time I saw Rage Against the Machine live, because that was my whole thing as a teenager. I was absolutely obsessed with their first album, and managed to get tickets to see them when they reformed in 2008 when I was 17, I think it was. And experiencing that was just on a completely different level to anything I've seen before or since. So yeah, don't think we're getting to play in front of 100,000 people in Finsbury Park anytime soon, but something about the crowd all being there in unison, and the anthem of that closing section of Killing in the Name, when everyone's in unison and there's 100,000 people singing the same thing. You just can't get that kind of atmosphere outside of metal. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally. So, were you in any bands before you started Asylum Road?
Well, we've actually, at one point of another, I've been in a band with Brian. My first ever band was with Brian, and the band after that, I was on it then with Paul. So yeah. I've been about with the lads, you could say.
It's the first time we've all been in a band together, though.
Oh, aye, this is the first time.
Like we've been in different bands and we've regularly played gigs together.
Yeah.
But no, we've never been in a band together ever. And none of us, I think, was ever in a band with Ethan outside of
No. No, it was just me and Brian and me and Paul, and then just once we all got together, then it was just, like I said, that first jam with Paul when he came on, and it was great. Just I couldn't have went any better.
Right enough.
You know what I mean? It was literally 70% of a song done within an hour and a half.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it worked out pretty well.
It worked very quickly. I mean, considering we've all known each other, known of each other for, God, we're really getting old now, probably 20 years.
Aye.
We only really got together, the three of us, in a room last year for the first time. But yeah, me and Darren played in the band when we were probably 18 to 20, and we were okay. But we were too busy drinking to do any of the behind the scenes. We just thought, the arrogance of youth, we're good live, someone will see us. Don't worry about uni, we're going to be rock stars, it's all good.
Metallica lifestyle with a student budget.
Yeah, what was the cider? Frosty Jacks?
Frosty Jack cider, and if you were really, really, flush with cash, a wee bottle of my water, they cut through it. Wee bottle of blackcurrant, they cut the absolute disgust.
And I cleared off then for a few years and lived overseas, and I played in a metal band in Wellington in New Zealand called Sect. So I played with them for about a year, and then when I came back home, Darren messaged me and could you fill in for a gig, just for one gig, play some bass? And here we are. 2 years later, 3 years later?
I knew what I was doing. I knew you couldn't just do it for one gig. I knew you were just going to throw yourself on it like you always do.
Yeah, and then as we say, we were the previous guitarist left last year, and myself, Darren, and Ethan, we knew we worked well together. There's 80% of your time in a band is practicing, organizing, or sorting out merch, traveling, whatever else. So if you don't get along, it's not going to work. And so when Paul came in the first day to try out, he didn't need to try out. He turned up with pre-written songs. He blew us out of the water in terms of his playing and his songwriting. But more than that, we can sit down, we can have a couple of pints. There's no never any issues between the four of us. It's great.
It's fantastic.
Cool. We've got a couple of questions from the chat. Aussie Queen of the Rooms asks, what is your favourite song of the band?
Oof. Mine changes. With each practice, and you go, man, that sounded great. This is my favourite song now, and then maybe half an hour later, you play a different song. We'll run through it again, and you play a different song better, and you're like, nah, this is my favourite. But I would say at the moment, I don't know. I think ever since we wrote at the very start of the year with Paul, the first song that we wrote with Paul, Circa Trova, is still currently my favourite. But I think Mask of Oblivion, once we get into that, like it's a monster of a song in terms of everything. It's just a great song. So Circa for now, Mask of Oblivion for the future is mine.
I'll go ahead, Paul.
No, I was saying, like, as Darren was saying, when we were recording kind of the EP, it was every new song we recorded was the best song. It was great.
It was just changing.
The one that I keep going back to is we have a song called "Cut to the Bone." I think it's the most accessible out of all of our songs, but it's still heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's to the point. There's no faff in it, and it's just balls to the wall from the get go. Mask of Oblivion has got a wee bit of a closeness to me, so I'll always like that. But I'm going to go with Cut to the Bone.
Good shout.
I'm gonna do a two-part answer. So from the first EP, I really like Malignant just because it's hard-hitting, groovy. From the EP that's going to be released next year, Cut to the Bone, and not a great answer because no one here's heard it yet, but we all absolutely love it. It's just it's different. It's got a long drawn out intro, it's got heavy groovy riffs, it's got a melodic chorus, and then there's a guitar solo that will melt your face, followed by a single piano. So it's got a bit of everything. The only thing we don't have, just looking at your username there, Aussie Queen of the Rouge 2026. Going to make an assumption and guess your message is from Australia. My next door neighbour's in Aussie, and last week a song playing the didgeridoo. So for our next EP, I'm going to ask him, can he come and do a session with us? Genuinely, it's an unbelievable sound, really low bassy drone. Harry, who lives next door, is from Melbourne, so I'm going to see if I can get him in the studio.
Get him in for pints and didgeridoo, and I'll bring a boar on, and we'll go full culture on it.
Full Sepultura, but Ireland and Aussie.
but in Ireland.
Cool. Thank you for that, Aussie. So, what has the band been up to, especially in the last 12 months or so?
Working behind the scenes mainly. Like the lad said, with Paul coming on board, we didn't want to half-ass it. We wanted to sit down, flesh things out. Paul had a whole litany of songs, as Brian had said, he came in well prepared, and we have literally just been working at those, getting them to where they need to be at, to be as perfect as we can get them, and then just practicing them, recording them, and it's literally just been all behind the scenes. I mean, we all love writing music, and we really want to get back on stage. That's where we belong. I think that's most musicians will tell you that's what it's about. So it has just been a lot of behind the scenes stuff, between the lads. And then there's the business aspect of it, as Brian was saying, and Brian's amazing at it, as is Paul. The two lads, Brian from a business point of view, and Paul from like an artistic. Paul would do videos, photo shoots, a lot of the visual aspect of it, and Brian would handle the more, in depth, organizing and whatever else. But I mean, we each have our own role, but I mean that's essentially what we've been at, is all the boring stuff rather than jumping around, touring, gigging, painting, meeting everybody, and just having a good time.
Basically a full reset. We came in and we said, new guitarist on board. Let's lock ourselves away for 6 months to a year, write an EP that's going to be better than anything we've done before, make videos that are going to be a level up. And the other thing that's taken a lot of time and effort is we want our live show to be a show, not, 4 lads get up and playing their music. So it's about, we've spent a lot of work on the technical side of that in terms of getting an ear monitoring and, click tracks and taking the show from us turning up and, it being inconsistent to trying to play as close to the EP live as we possibly can without just turning up and pressing play on a CD player. It's still us playing it, but we're trying to enhance and take it all up a level. And thankfully, the admin stuff, that boring stuff that no one wants to hear about, thankfully we have signed up with Soda Records over in Canada. And then we've signed on with Reaction Management, and they've both been absolutely fantastic. They can take a lot of that, the pitching the playlists, the trying to send stuff to curators, the trying to advertise and grow and develop. We don't mind doing it, but that's, we've got experts on board now with experience who can guide us and help us with that side of things, so we can just go and make art, be that heavy music or videos.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So could you tell us a little bit about the new EP, if you can?
Yeah. Geez, where do we start? Originally, we had planned just whenever I joined, just to write a few songs. I came on, as Darren was saying there, I think within the first hour, we had pretty much written Circa Trova. So that song, I don't want to really speak here for Darren, but that song's about seek and you shall find. I think it's kind of like, them guys were a guitarist down, put out an ad, I responded to the ad, and here we are today. But no, as I say, we sat down, we wrote songs. There was no real theme to anything, but everything has come out now. It's been dark, been meaningful. There's 5 tracks now on the EP, and our next track from it now is going to be Mask of Oblivion, released on the 12th of December. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's honestly, it's the best piece of metal music that I've heard in a long time. Really proud of what we've accomplished with it, and we've poured everything into it. So yeah, it's a stonker of a song. It's really, really good.
No, just to add to Paul there, I mean, it's been a mixed bag with the music, and as I said, there was been no real kind of central theme around it. Just whatever the songs, whenever they came out, bar maybe 1 or 2 that kind of had that theme behind it, or a theme. It's it has been the best music that I've been involved with over my years in any band. I think the lads would agree with that. It has so many different elements to it, and so many different flavors, I suppose you could add to the tunes, where it can be, as Paul said, 1 minute it's balls to the wall, the next minute it's melodic, the next minute, Brian was saying, there's piano in there. It's just something that we've worked really hard on, we're really proud of, and, when people do hear it, they can hopefully, see where we're coming from in terms of each song brings its own unique sound to it. But it's the wee idiosyncrasies as well that tie them all together and make them sound like us. You know, you'll hear it and go, that's different to the last song. The next track is different to the previous song, but it's still, oh, that's Asylum Road. You know, you can still pick up that signature sound that we're trying to perfect. No, each big band has their own kind of sound, and that's really the aim of this EP, was to establish our sound. Because from the first EP, we were kind of all over the place.
A mix of styles, and
yeah,
one thing that's really different from this EP is that last time we rushed through it, and we had an attitude of that's good enough.
Yeah.
You know, that'll do, and we refused to allow that to be the case this time. It was pretty much, is that riff good enough? Is it interesting enough? Does it go on for too long? You know, it was about dynamics. It wasn't just right. There's a verse, chorus, bridge, solo, throwing a breakdown, and you're done, because we kind of done that, and we did it on purpose. We did it. We thought for the first EP, we want music that's really just about having a few beers, headbanging, having a good time, and it was absolutely fine. But I think when Paul came on board, he kind of said, that stuff's not bad, but we can do better.
I think, you know, just adding that, it was more surgical this time. You know, we were very precise on what we wanted to do, and what we wanted to, you know, we weren't afraid, I suppose, as well, to go, that rough's good, but let's cut it out. Let's rewrite it. Let's make it better. Whereas Brian before?
Paul doesn't mince his words. You know,
no, it certainly doesn't.
If you turn up with a riff and it's not good enough, you know, you can just get a no. That's shit.
Or the studio with the vocals, it was like, is that it? What do you mean, is that it? You know, sitting screaming my head off. It's like, aye, that's good, like, but, well, do you want to know what? No, it's a bit shit. You can go higher, scream longer. But, you know, it worked, and that's the thing. We all have that drive now for each other, and we're each pushing each other, and Paul's the first as well. They turn and say, look, lads, what do you think, honestly? And if we think it can be improved upon, nobody's turning around, and nobody's like, oh, well, you know, I thought that was brilliant, and who's he to say this? And, you know, there's no egos, there's none of that crap, you know, and it's everything is just driving each other to be better, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
And I think it's made a difference.
I think I definitely know we're a lot more older, we're wiser. Every band writes songs to go on an EP, and you end up with so much on the shop floor. And you know, even with the first track and many different iterations, was that go through before we were like, right, this is it. Now it does get to a point where you just go, right, we have to finish that. That's it. That's the song. But yeah, we're at that stage now, aren't we? With like writing music, we're going, yeah, that's good, but let's see what else we can pull out. Let's see what else we can pull out. And where I think definitely beforehand, it's you just whatever you're writing, you're going, that's on an EP. You know, we're not like that anymore.
No.
Cool. We've got a question from Lisaboo from all the way from Canada. She asks, what is your process for writing your songs? What comes first?
That's a good question, Lisa. Just kind of depends, really, doesn't it, lads? I mean, one of the boys will come with a rough.
For me, it's I'm just constantly writing roughs all the time. Yeah, so I write a rough. It has to have a groove. It just has to have something they make your head bang, or to give you just that stank face or something. But personally, I'm all about emotion. Like everything has to make, like my favorite bands, the favorite songs I'm on, they make you feel something. They make you feel a certain way, be it like, you know, melancholy or sad or just aggression or whatever. So normally when I'm sitting down, I'm thinking about something, and then something will come out. I would get this one rough. I would show it to the guys if they like it. Then the drums will get into that, and then just from that, then we progress. Like, for example, like Oblivion. I had Oblivion written 2 years ago, and it just was going nowhere. And then I showed it to Brian. Brian came back with this piano, and it just evolved then overnight. Really, it was just like, wow. So, you know, sometimes like I would write a rough and it mightn't go anywhere. You would sit on it, and then one of the guys would come back with something extra, and then it just sparks this new creativity for things. And then after that, it's like he just puts these lyrics in on top of things. You know, sometimes we have lyrical ideas and everything else, but then he gets his own feeling for the song, or if we tell him, this is what the song's about, but mainly Darren, he just goes off, writes the lyrics, and puts in the pizzazz on everything.
That's basically how it works. I mean, I've books and books of lyrics, and some are god awful. I wouldn't show them to anybody. I think one of my kids found them one day, and he just laughed at it and walked away and went, "Oh my god!" Some are awful, and then some are whenever I'm on the mood of something or a certain mood or feel, as Paul said, dealing in emotions. Or Paul or Brian or Ethan will say, "Look, this song, I feel a certain way," and if a song sounds aggressive, you have to think of something aggressive to put it. As the way I feel with songs. But my writing ranges from anything from mental health to political landscapes. They, just then metal, could just be a night of drinking, just depending on the mood, on the feel, and whatever the lads have wrote it, because I want to stay true to how they're feeling. If they're writing a song that's very emotional and personal, you don't want it to be singing about going out and getting hammered. You have to be on the same page, and you have to empathize and put yourself on where they're coming from, song wise. I mean, it's just the final point is Mask of Oblivion, perfect example. When it comes out and you listen to it, you'll get where we were coming from. And that started with Paul and an idea from him, and he spoke to me about it, and Brian, and we all added our individual bits that came together. Probably the best song I've been involved in writing with, anyway, so far in my musical life.
Probably the best example of it, because Paul, I mean, I'm not good if I sit down and trying to write a song from scratch. I'm not great with that. It's not a strength of mine. But Paul came with this guitar and drum piece, and I listened to it, and I thought I can put a bass line under that's bordering on a funk bass line. It shouldn't fit in a metal song, but let's throw it in and see. And then it's at 2/3 finished for how long, Paul? For months, and we were like, how do we finish this song?
Yeah, we actually sat and jammed one day, and we wrote. We basically wrote our version of Planet Caravan. It was just I had the clean guitar on, Brian was playing his funk bass line, and I just started playing the guitar, and Ethan was on the drums, and I pulled out a globe bike. I said, we have to record this. It was just one of them magic moments, just one take, sat down in the practice place, and then from that, I went back and just wrote Oblivion. But yeah, I like to keep songs simple. I like simple songs as well. Just I love progressive rock. Don't get me wrong, I love my 8-minute ballads and things as well. But just the songs I like to write, there's a good hook, and it just goes verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and then out. I just think that's the golden ratio, really, isn't it? So yeah, keep it simple.
Cool. Thank you for that, Lisa. So, are you writing any new material for sort of like another EP or singles, or are you thinking about doing sort of like an album next time?
Don't know if we're doing an album, but we're constantly writing new stuff. Like there's another what me and Brian went through, like just a wreck of us. I think we've another 5 in the pipeline, but there's one pretty much finished now on the way. So yeah, that's like we're constantly writing stuff. Just constantly writing stuff.
The time frame. The two things I suppose are the time frames. I mean, Mask of Oblivion, which comes out in just over 2 weeks' time, was finished kind of June, July. So if we're writing stuff now, it'll be coming out towards the end of 2025, just because it takes so long to get it written, recorded, produced, mixed, mastered, and then go through the release process. So, as I say, we've got one in the pipeline. Whether we do an EP or an album, and that really, the only thing that determines that is, are the songs good enough? We could write 10 songs, but if only 5 of them are good enough, it's going to be an EP.
Yeah, we're going to listen to the advice as well of Soda Records and Reaction Management as well. We're lucky enough to have them on board, and just listening to their expertise as well. I don't know if many people listen to albums anymore. Is there any point in doing albums? Most of the big bands now they even just do EPs, like Tick Down, for example, like one of me and Darren's favorite bands. The last 3 releases were all EPs.
EPs.
Slipknot, aye, like Slipknot there recently. It's just really been all singles as well that they're releasing. So you kind of just have to go as well with what people want to an extent. I know we're not really about that. We write stuff that we like, we want to listen to, and I think that produces better art, produces better music. But when it comes to releasing things as well, if no one's listening to albums, don't release an album. We're just releasing songs, so we're open to just doing whatever comes.
I mean, like as Brian said, 10-song EP, but 5 are good enough. I mean, that's 50%. Whereas if you put those 5 good songs into an EP, it's 100% EP. You know what I mean? But it's kind of hard to gauge as well, like Paul saying, what way the wind's blowing, because these big bands they're talking about EPs or doing EPs, like Down, as Paul said, and Slipknot. But then again, other bands are still doing albums. I think also as well, more modern metal, but sometimes, and I'm guilty of it myself, sometimes if I'm listening to a new album, the attention span kind of wanes a bit, and you're like, oh, that's great, I'll come back and listen to that, skip to the next song. Oh, that sounds great, I must come back and listen to that too. And you find yourself going through it a lot quicker than whereas, maybe years ago you were sitting down and you were listening to a full CD start to finish, or a full vinyl start to finish, or cassette, or whatever it was. I think now, just because of the accessibility of everything being digital and online, it's a lot easier just to jump through songs to certain segments, and you're listening to people would have been listening to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven in 4 minutes or less these days, just by going, oh, great intro, wonder what the chorus is like, skip to the chorus, wonder what the solo's like, skip to the solo, and you're missing the essential heart of the song. I mean, that's just what I find. And I'm guilty of it myself. But we just normally whatever feel the songs are and how strong they can be, and it's just whether we're itching or not, they get them recorded and be all, boys, I can't wait for an album. Let's just put these on an REP because they're class.
That's
it. Cool. Got another question from Lisaboo. She asks, what is your favourite part of performing?
The crowd, the people, being there in front and meeting everybody then, and just the mutual love of music and performer and Hunter coming together and because we're all fans. We love going to see other bands who are our friends and supporting them, from grassroots right up to the professional bands. For me, it's the people, it's the metal community. That's my favorite. Going to a new place and meeting everybody and just performing for them.
Yeah,
that's nice. And I see you're an extrovert. You love chatting to people. I love standing on a stage and looking up and seeing X amount of people in a mosh pit, obliterating each other and letting out all the stress of the week, the month, the year, whatever it is, and a row of people up front headbanging, just because those people are just there in the music. Nothing else matters. They're there. They're enjoying the tunes. You're standing there playing. That's my favorite thing in the world. Standing on a stage, watching an audience really getting into a tune. It's unbelievable.
Especially one that you wrote yourself.
That question, it just brings to mind. I went last month there to see T-shirt I'm wearing a band, Better Lovers in Belfast. It's your man Greg from Dillinger Escape Plan has a new band, and they've got a song, and one of the lines in one of the songs, he just says, "I'm just like you," and they had the whole crowd chanting, "I'm just like you," and it just hit home because I was just like, you know what, that's what I like about gigging. It's just I'm just a fan, just like everybody else. I like seeing the other bands play. I like then chatting to the other bands, meeting fans. Yeah, it's a night out. It's an excuse to go drinking with my buddies as well. This stage.
Hard to beat that one.
Watching concerts has changed slightly because we were at Killswitch Engage, and who were the other bands? Fit for an Autopsy and Decapitated. Was that about a month ago, Paul? And Paul's
Aye.
at one side of the venue, and I was at the other side, and we were messaging each other. Look at that backdrop. I wonder what kind of display they're using there. I wonder what kind of that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for that, Lisa. So, is there any sort of like plans on bringing out new merchandise?
Well, we haven't chatted about that yet. Now, Paul's very good with graphic design, so in terms of creating new interesting merchandise, he definitely has a knack for that.
I think we chatted definitely about a new run for the EP. Like when I came on board, there was like a new kind of direction for art, but the guys have some cracker like material already. Like it's one of the first things I did was just pick up a t-shirt, and I was like, happy days, free clothes, amazing. But I know, like, I don't know, or like maybe come and see us and you'll find out.
It's hugely important for us as a small band because we don't generate huge amounts of income from other sources. What really creates enough money for us to go and put on a tour or to go and play shows we wouldn't otherwise play is the support of people there, people buying. And it doesn't have to be a hoodie, it doesn't have to be a t-shirt, it can be a badge for a couple of quid. But for independent artists or independent bands in any genre, being able to go and sell your merchandise and your CDs and whatever else, there's two things to it. One, it helps pay for the diesel to get us where we have to go, and if we're doing really well, maybe for a couple of beers afterwards or whatever else. But it's also like there's something great about going and playing in a town and knowing that after you leave, people from that town are walking around wearing Asylum Road t-shirts. I really like that.
Cool. Lisaboo just said, I hope one day to be able to see you play live.
That'll be cool.
Where are you from? Where are you from, Lisa?
Alberta, Canada.
Canada. I've always wanted to go to Canada. So, Lisa, if we're there, we will absolutely jam. We will put everything out there, and we will play our heads off, and then I will chat your head off afterwards. I will talk to you until the cows come home.
The record company's Canadian as well, so
make it happen. They could make it happen, all right.
Yeah. So the Records is a pretty cool label. Very cool label.
Yeah, definitely.
So, staying with merchandise, Ozzy has just asked, would you do a run of vinyl, even if it's a limited amount?
We talked about that. I mean, it seems to be the cool kind of collector's thing that people are doing nowadays, but vinyl is coming back in a big way. We talked about it, about doing possibly a limited run of vinyls, from what I remember. Again, just taking into consideration, as Brian was saying, in terms of finances, we were trying to prioritize, what's needed more. And I think if we did find ourselves in that position where we do have a wee bit of extra cash, doing something special, to mark the occasion, and limited vinyl would be the one, really, wouldn't it?
Something that's on our to-do list, definitely.
Aye.
Well, one of my favorite artists at the minute is a guy called Rabia Masad, English guitarist. It's just phenomenal. Has new band Fire, and they're releasing a new album, but they're doing like a limited run of vinyl. And with the vinyl, you get it's all signed merchandise. You get a free T-shirt, sweatband, all the whole works. And you pay a bit of a premium for it, but it's something I think it's really missing, isn't it? In music today is, I was watching something there on YouTube, like is metal dead? And it's because, as Darren was saying, people aren't really buying into the whole thing of being a metalhead anymore. Before it was, you were part of this elite kind of group. You knew the lyrics, you were wearing the t-shirts, but now people they kind of lost that. So I would love to do a limited press, like maybe 25 or 50. Obviously you get something extra with it, not just the vinyl, but it's something then really personal for us to you as a fan.
We definitely enjoy that. Like, it's the personal touch, really. From fans that are buying maybe overseas that haven't seen us yet, but they dig the music. And it's, again, I speak about that connection. Everyone that listens to us, I think, are absolute legends, because without people listening to our stuff, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So I feel personally, anyway, I get attached to people really quickly. Especially if they're music lovers, and you just want to go that extra mile. Just they let them know that you feel the appreciation.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes especially when you come across somebody who loves music, you sort of like gravitate towards them.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's me. Just anybody I hear somebody talking about music that I love, you just kind of just swish my way over there and be all, hello, I hear you're talking about such and such.
Yeah. Yeah. True. So thank you for that, Ozzy. So, is there any sort of like plans on doing tours to promote the new EP?
Nothing confirmed yet, no, but we're geographically the next protocol for us outside of the island of Ireland would be Scotland, England, Wales. So we'd love to get over there in 2026 and put together a run of shows. But what we want to do is make sure that we're not just going on tour for the sake of it, that whatever we do, that the bands we play with, the venues we go and play, that we're going to connect with people. We don't want to just travel across. Don't get me wrong, we'll have a great time either way. We'll have beers and Cards Against Humanity, and it'll be great. But we'd like to
Cheese boards.
Yeah, so we're in early conversations with the management company about putting together a UK run. So hopefully we can get that across the line. We'll play anywhere. It's just a matter of logistics.
Lisaboo just said, go to Newcastle for sure. I'm based in Sunderland, so I can get to Newcastle pretty easily.
Perfect. That's me. I've been to Newcastle numerous times. It's a great place. Mind you, I don't really recall much of Newcastle. It was very blurry because I was there 2 stags. But it looked, past the blurs, it looked like a lovely place.
It is.
And my niece lives there as well. She went there for uni, and she just stayed there. She loves the place, So Newcastle is a 2 thumbs up for me.
Oh yeah, I'd love to go and see Newcastle and play there. Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, any of those places.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, probably the best place is, especially in Newcastle, is Trillions in Newcastle. Massive rock and metal bar. They've had a load of bands there from all over the world.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's one for the list.
Cool. Right. We've got a question from Lisaboo, and she asks, would you collaborate with another artist, and who would it be? Who would you like to collaborate with?
As this, I'm gonna go in 2 ways with this. I'm gonna go like somebody local that's within our realms at the moment, and then I'm gonna go fantastical and like who my ideal one would be. Fortunately, we've been lucky enough to play with some great bands locally around the country. There's the Curse Sun lads. They're very much similar in terms of like that kind of groove. As well, it'd be great to do a tune with those guys. And me personally, there's a band in Dublin called Two Tales of Woe. They're kind of more sludgier and that kind of doom metal, a lot slower than what we are. They play with Crowbar, one of my favorite bands. So, and I'm good friends with Kjarl, the singer. So I would do that, no sweat. Any band, really, any artist. And then if we're going on the fantastical side of things, I would love to do something with Devin Townsend. I mean, that dude is it's just next next level. He's so many levels up. He's a skyscraper. Do you know what I mean? That dude is just amazing. And then just for like my kind of personal hero side of things would be Phil Anselmo. I mean, as I said about Pantera, Down, Superjoint, there's that many fellers in that man's boat. You know, you could do any kind of music with him. But that would be mine anyway, ideally.
Mine, I would love to collaborate with Mick Gordon. Get
good
the Doom
choice.
soundtrack. Just think,
That's dirty air, though.
music. So yeah, just something different. Mick Gordon, yeah. Maybe, as I said, Rabia Masad. Like, I think that guy's just phenomenal at guitar and the things he writes. He's my sort of guitarist as well. It doesn't just all about the sweep picking and everything else. He's just he's got a bit of soul, you know, and his writing. Josh Middleton as well from Sidosis, unreal guitar player. Band wise, Gojira, Orbit Culture maybe. Yeah, that'd be my ones, just to collaborate. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's pretty straightforward. Musically, I've got a group around me that I love playing with, but yeah, if I was going to collaborate with anybody else, I don't think I can bring in another bass player. You know, I love the bass, but it's going to be too much bass, so you kind of double bass. So it would need to be a guitarist or a singer possibly. So Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel, he's got an unbelievable voice. Just that low end. It's so visceral, something otherworldly about what Phil Bozeman does. In terms of guitar players, one from left field, but love Gary Moore from his solo stuff and from his other stuff. Is just, again, kind of not into that shredding fast guitar playing. Otherwise, I play guitar, but I love the bluesy stuff. I love a bit of blues anyway. And Gary Moore is just an absolute master at what he did.
Does it have to be a musical artist? Because now I'm just thinking outside the box. Like, you know, could we collaborate with like a director or something? You know,
Al Pacino, just bring Al Pacino on, and he can act all my scenes in every music video.
Just get the Cirque du Soleil on as our live show.
That would be class, actually.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for that, Lisa. Lisa says, never too much bass.
There you go, Brian.
Lisa, you're a keeper.
Yeah.
You're wise, Lisa. That's great. Yeah, lads, write that down.
That's made his whole week. That's I'm happy for the rest of the month now.
That's me. That's
the
me,
rest of next month.
Cool. So where can people find you on social media so they can keep up to date?
Yeah, so Instagram, we're at Asylum_Road, and Facebook. If you just search Asylum Road, you'll find us there. Tunes are on Spotify, YouTube Music, YouTube itself. If you stick on Asylum Road Derry, you might get. We're named after a famous street in the town, so you might get a few links for the street itself, but you'll find us if you look.
Cool. So, guys, in the chat, if you've got any more questions, please ask away. Because we're going to be starting to wrap things up in the next 5-10 minutes or so. We've got a question from Ozzy. She asks, do you have a favorite venue to play at? And do you have a dream venue to play at?
Well, I think coming from Derry, in the north of Ireland, our big venue that we looked up there and went to gigs at when we were younger was the Nerve Centre. It was always the place to go. Battle of Bands, our friends were playing there. You know, it was always the place they look up to. Still, even to this day, do you know what I mean? We still talk about gigs there and great memories and stuff. Favorite venue that I played at locally would have been on there. Dream venue. Sorry, welcome to my dog. Dream venue. There's so many, really, isn't there? I mean, Madison Square Garden. You know, you think of the many bands that have been through there, and like favorite bands of mine. You know, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Kiss, Pantera. It's all kind of really the big one, isn't it? You know.
For me, sorry,
ahead.
Dark. Oh no, for me, I think the best venue I've ever played is Fubber McGee's in Dublin. I think
That's a great venue.
Fubbers in Dublin, that's great. And then something about closer to home, maybe Limelight in Belfast is an unreal venue. Again, it's had some unreal bands, but it still houses local bands. It just has an unreal sound system. The Nerve Centre and stuff's great as well, as Darren said. I've seen Better Lovers in the Yes Centre in Belfast, as I was saying, but we're actually playing there now on the 31st of January, so that was something for me. It was the first time I was on that venue, and I thought I want to play here. And the management company kind of sorted us out with a gig in there, so yeah, I'm kind of stoked on that. But dream venue, the Hellfest or Vacan. Just love to play one of them big festivals. I wouldn't even care about like headline or nothing like that. I just to be on a stage, one of them would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, to be playing one of those Wacken, Hellfest, Download, Bloodstock, one of those elite metal festivals is the dream from all of this. Best venue I've played at, I really liked the place we played in last year in Cavan, which is a small rural town in Ireland, and we turned up and we walked into this small pub, and I looked in the corner beside the fireplace, and I thought, is that it? No, that's not it. We went around the back, and there's a huge marquee with a huge stage, and hundreds of people, and it was fantastic. So it might have just been the juxtaposition of thinking I was going to go and play in the small country pub, and then all of a sudden it's this unbelievable venue at the back.
Your face was priceless.
Oh, what a surprise that was! The dream venue for me would be Croke Park in Dublin. It's National Stadium. It's follow the national sport, Gaelic and hurling. Only the biggest acts in the world play there. You can only put on 3 or 4 concerts a year, so that's dreamland stuff there. But I mean, we're not Coldplay, so that's not happening anytime soon.
Croke Park head, and even think of Croker. I was thinking away somewhere else, but that's a shout. That's actually a brilliant shout.
Well, in fairness, some of the best gigs I've been at has been in sweaty, smelly, dingy bars where the floor's sticky and you can feel the sweat coming off the band. It's just.
I love those gigs. I love them.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been to a few gigs like that where the capacity is about 50, and you can actually just feel the energy from everybody, all in the space of like size of like a average size sitting room or living room.
Yeah. Great. So close that you can smell what the people had for their breakfast.
Yeah, true. So thank you for that, Ozzy. Any advice for people who want to become a musician, whether it be for their own sort of like personal pleasure or quite possibly going down into the sort of commercial route?
I suppose the learning curve at the very start is steep when you learn any instrument, but if you can get past that first few weeks or months of, nowadays I've got a young daughter, when she picks up something, if she's not immediately good at it, she gives up. And you have to get through that spell of it not being that much fun before it gets fun. You have to and it might only be a few weeks or a few months, but you have to put in that, get through that initial, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I'm not talking about bass, I'm talking about guitar. Bass is grand from day one, it's 4 strings, it's a lot easier. Guitarists are way more skilled. No, but in all seriousness, it's just that stick at it and don't compare yourself to famous musicians and all the rest of it. If you've got a guitar in your hand and you're enjoying yourself, great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about being perfect or whatever. If you enjoy it,
I would say learn your craft. You know, get good at what you do. You don't have to be the best in the world. There's always going to be somebody better than you at everything that you do.
Yep.
And even if you are at the top, someone's always coming behind you. But I would say, get good at what you do. Enjoy it. It has to be fun. And then don't write what other people like. Write what you like. You know what I mean, do what's personal to you and what means something to you, and people will gravitate towards it all the time.
And if you have that passion and that love for it, then no matter how hard it gets, always remind yourself why you're doing it. You're doing it because you love it. Regardless of how difficult, as Brian was saying, it is, or as Paul was saying, no matter what people are doing, do your own thing and be passionate about it and love it and have fun, as the lad said. And find people. If you're not going to do it solo, find like-minded people that are doing it. They're on there with you, because you're going to be on the trenches together. You're going to be on, sharing cars together. You're going to be doing vans and sweating it up on the road and sharing deodorant cans and, telling each other how much you stink after 2 days in the road. And, you want to have fun with it as well, and have those people that are going to be on the road on the journey with you.
Sound advice there. Sound advice. So, guys, we're going to be starting to wrap things up now. So, have you got any final words before we go?
I just want to say thank you very much for having us, and to Lisa and Ozzy for the questions. I mean, they were absolutely fantastic questions. So thank you very much, is what I want to say, and hopefully we'll get over to Canada and we'll get to Australia. So that's all I have to say.
Just cheers. Thanks a million. Just keep an eye out for the release of our new single now on 12th of December. Just if you do ever happen to catch us at a show, come say hello. We'll get a beer deal.
Or 10.
Yeah, thanks, folks. It's some great questions there. Look, we make this music because we love it, and we really appreciate it when people take the time to listen to us or share our tunes or come on here and ask us questions. It really means a lot to us when people give their time to the band, be it listening to things, buying things, coming and saying hello. So yeah, thank you all very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming on, and it's been so much fun. So much fun. We've got a couple of comments from Lisaboo. Lisaboo says, "Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate." Ozzy has said, "Thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome."
Go, thank you.
So guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a total pleasure. It's been absolute fun talking to you guys, and we've got to do this again.
100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
Cheers.
So guys, in the chat, if you haven't checked out Asylum Road, please do. The mods have been putting out the links to the band's social media and stuff like that, to like Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. So go check them out, and I'll also put all the links down in the description as well. So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a total pleasure.
We'll catch you when we have our Newcastle debut.
Definitely. So guys, until next time, we'll catch you all later.
Enjoy.